It's completely normal to go to bed at night thinking negative thoughts when you're grieving, and then taking those negative thoughts into your sleep and having nightmares. Or simply laying there in bed all night going over and over again the same story while exhausted but wide awake at the same time and unable to sleep. The release of emotions is sometimes just what the body and mind needs to be able to move on. Not forget, of course, but just be able to move on in a positive way, which is exactly what the person who has passed away would obviously want. These days, in the modern world, everything has to be so fast, including burying and saying goodbye to our loved ones. Years ago, we had a mourning period to be able to grieve properly immediately after the funeral that would last for a week or even longer. We would even wear black to signify the death. The natural response to death is grief. It's one of the hardest challenges that we all face, saying goodbye to people we love and then trying to get back into normal life. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. It affects everybody differently. However you deal with it, you should never be ashamed. It's okay to be sad after a significant loss. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the 8 signs to look out for to know that somebody you know, or even yourself, is not dealing with grief or loss very well. The first is to experience compulsive behaviours. It's possible to experience guilt and shame too. The mind sometimes looks for distractions and OCD can take over. Meticulously cleaning the house or the car or themselves. Checking locks over and over again as the subconscious mind tries to keep you occupied all the time. Restlessness and hyperactivity can kick in, rendering us useless for day-to-day normal life. Next up, your concentration can be affected, as our minds are sometimes consumed in a vicious circle of negativity, perhaps going over and over again what happened and why it happened, and what if it didn't happen, wishing that it never happened and wishing that you could have done something about it. Next up, we've got nightmares and disrupted sleep, which can be a disaster, as this stops us from being able to live our lives properly when we're exhausted all the time. It's completely normal to go to bed at night thinking negative thoughts when you're grieving, and then taking those negative thoughts into your sleep and having nightmares. Or simply laying there in bed all night going over and over again the same story while exhausted but wide awake at the same time and unable to sleep. Anxiety levels can heighten due to overthinking and overworrying. The fight or flight system is activated and the subconscious mind lives in a vicious circle of overthinking and overworrying. Going over the past and worrying about the future can be harsh symptoms of anxiety. And anxiety brings along many symptoms including headaches, stomach aches, body aches, heart palpitations, sweating and nervousness, and the list goes on. Next up is a loss of appetite can occur, and this is obviously very dangerous for physical and mental health. Not only do we lose weight, but we have less energy every day, which makes us lethargic and more prone to negativity and depression. Next one up, irritability. It's normal whilst grieving. Arguing with friends perhaps, family and partners can be commonplace. It's easy to lash out and blame other people for things as an escape from reality, and even blaming ourselves when it's actually nobody's fault. This brings us to the next one, which is withdrawal from relationships. It's very common to take things out on people that are closest to us, and when we are grieving, it's hard to be positive. Libido levels decrease, and we generally start to lose interest in everything around us. But when this involves a partner, of course, they can feel alone, abandoned, and often let down. Grieving can bring us physical pain. The side effects can vary and can go on for days, weeks, months, and in some cases, even years. So what can we do to make the grieving easier? Here is a list of some of the things to try so that you can get back to your regular life and feel better about everything. Firstly, do something about your sleep if you're struggling. Make sure you are tired enough to actually go to sleep. Use a journal to write down all your thoughts and emotions and feelings before you get into bed. Listen to meditation, and perhaps read a book to distract your mind and allow you to finally get some rest. Avoid going over and over the same scenarios in your mind by creating a list, if possible, that has a relevance with the person that has passed away, of things to put a smile on your face instead of focusing on the negativity and feeling sad. You can use this list throughout the day to change your state from negative to positive, and it really works. It's easy to say try and eat healthy. It's hard enough for people even when they're not feeling down to eat healthy. So I suggest in this situation, you keep to a routine of grocery shopping and preparation to make it easy for yourself to get those meals that you need each day. Preparing food is, of course, another distraction that can help you rest your mind from any sad thoughts. A great idea is to get together with friends and family that knew whoever passed away and talk about all the good times and the bad times and share the emotions together. It's always good to feel, and it's always good to share with others who feel the same. The release of emotions is sometimes just what the body and mind needs to be able to move on. Not forget, of course, but just be able to move on in a positive way, which is exactly what the person who has passed away would obviously want. Avoid alcohol and, of course, drugs as much as possible. This may seem like a great idea as you enter oblivion and forget about everything important in your life, but the next day you'll be 10 times worse and you'll wish that you avoided it altogether. Keeping a straight head and clear thinking is far better for you. Next up, stick to your routine. Whatever you normally do throughout the week, continue to do. Sometimes you may find yourself on autopilot, just going through the motions, but this can be forgiven. You just have to keep your head above water, keep a strong positive mindset and look after yourself as if you were looking after somebody else that you love. Treat yourself, buy yourself something that will put a smile on your face, perfume or aftershave, flowers, a meal out, or whatever it is that you would enjoy. Exercise. Change your physiology, move your body, get out into nature and breathe some fresh air. It's a great way to feel better about everything in your life. If you're in a position that you have lots of time on your hands, then a great suggestion is to volunteer for things. It could be a great help to referee a local football team or netball team, walking dogs for the RSPCA or whatever local dogs home you have, working a local charity shop or helping your neighbours. By doing this, you are contributing to society and it gives you a feel-good factor. And anything that makes you feel good can never be a bad thing. Losing a loved one has been difficult for me in the past, and of course for many of my friends and family too. And that's why I created the hypnotherapy audio called Dealing with Grief. It's available on my website, and by clicking the link below, you can check it out. Before I go, let me add that the most important person in your life is always you. You must look after yourself before anybody else, and then you are in the best optimal position to look after anybody else around you that needs you. You've come this far, and you're going to go a lot further. So stay positive and stay strong. From all of us here at New Mindset Hypnotherapy, we hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.